my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I am one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
Well, Dave, it's a Patreon pick, and it's our good friend Timothy, and we are going back to 1983. It's an absolute classic movie, screenplay by Oliver Stone, directed by Brian De Palma, pre-Untouchables, but it stars Mr. Al Pacino, Dave. So we are going to be reviewing Scarface. So when do you remember watching this one, Dave?
You know, I do have fuzzy kind of memories of half watching this one, Chris. I think it's one of those that I've kind of put on, but then I've just been distracted with other stuff and I've not really sat down and watched it, you know, and I've been out and I've been doing chores and stuff. And so, because it's a long old movie as well, isn't it? I don't think I've seen, certainly not the end bit. I've just been like fucking hoovering up or something. So I can't, this is almost like the first time of watching properly, you know, sitting down and watching it thoroughly. So yeah, it's a bit all over the place, but you know, I probably know it more through parody. You know, like in Ace Ventura, you going, hey, say hello to my stinky little friend. And so, you know, and I'm sure it's in The Mask as well. So, you know, it's more the reference. And I guess when you watch these documentaries on film and cinema and stuff, you know, there's various things, isn't there, of Tony Montana shown, various clips and whatever. So, yeah, it's all over the shop this week for me, Chris. I mean, how about yourself?
Yeah, it's weird with this one because I mentioned it last week. The end bit, there's a proper homage to it in GTA Vice City on the PlayStation 2. Because that whole scene with Tony and that, I know we'll get into it because it's iconic, is basically replayed for Tommy Vercetti, which was played by Ray Liotta. So I remember that. But I don't think I watched it till, it must be mid-90s. I think when I went through like all my gangster phase of like, I had everything on video, you know, I had like obviously The Godfather, Goodfellas, things like even like Casino and that, which come a bit later, I had stuff like that. But then I went through, it was like the little known movies that I went on that were rated highly, VHS ones. There's one where Christian Slater plays Lucky Luciano as well. But then I know this isn't Italian mafia or anything like that, but just knowing it was in that ballpark. And I think I rented it from the video shop. And I remember it being long, but it wasn't what I expected. I thought it was like, I don't know why. I probably thought it was an Italian type gangster movie, but watching what it was.
Yeah. I mean, it was originally, wasn't it? It's a remake, this.
Yeah, is it 1929 book? And there's a whole thing with the movie.
The 20s? I would have thought it would have been the 30s, because I thought it was based on Al Capone. But basically, they wanted to do something, you know, more up to date. So they, you know, it's quite quick to write about something that's happening in 1980 and releasing the film in 1983. You know, and apparently, like, Oliver Stone wasn't interested at all. It's like there's so many, you know, Italian gangster movies, and then just that simple little change to make it relevant, to make it contemporary to something that's happening today, you know, kind of switched it, and that's what got him on board. So I think I'm quite impressed, and I didn't really know any of that. Have you been to Cuba, Chris?
No, never. No.
I highly recommend going. It's, I mean, it was a few years ago since I went now, but, you know, I remember being a little bit cautious about going, you know, I wasn't too sure, but it's an amazing place, you know, and you see all the old American cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way they're maintained, they're all pristine because they've got no more imports. So, you know, and I need to go back and learn a little bit more about, you know, some of the detail of what led up to the revolution and stuff like that. But, you know, just knowing the basics. But apparently, you know, this thing about them basically, the economy crashed from what I can tell, and then they're saying, okay, well, a load of people can go over, people who've got family in America, we'll ship them all across, but also, taking advantage and like shipping across a load of criminals as well, getting them off the books. Masterstroke, I would say. But, all of that stuff, I had no idea. And of course, we were only like crawling around on the carpet around that time, weren't we? So, we wouldn't have known any of the political stuff back then. So, yeah, I've been really interested in watching this one. And the fact that it is brought, quote unquote, up to date, I think is brilliant.
Yeah, and I think you're right about watching it for what it is and what the story it's going to tell. And the iconic VHS cover as well. That black and white tone, Tony's got a white suit on and over his right shoulder there's the black setting, and then you've got the white. Honestly, it's really, really iconic. You knew straight away what movie you were getting. And obviously, being a massive Godfather fan, this is 10 years after when, Pacino played Michael Corleone and it moved away. He actually... He still looks young in this, doesn't he? I know, like, it's a different era, but yeah, I remember watching it and being completely impressed, completely blown away by some of the violence when I was younger, and thinking, oh my God, but I was thinking about, I don't think I've only ever seen it once, I said I thought last week I've seen it a few times. I don't think I have. I think I've seen it once, and then you catch the references on like top 100 movies from the 80s or little bits, and it's always quoted in it, like you say, say hello to my little friend, all that sort of thing, all them quotes and pop culture references. But yeah, it is a long old movie. It's 10 minutes short of 3 hours. Now, if it was Endgame or something, or Infinity, I don't give a fuck, Dave. I'm there.
Atlas.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, let's not talk about that shit. But but for this, like, it's quite it's one of the movies where you can't miss anything. The dialogue means something, doesn't it? There's loads going on that needs to be talked about.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd cut it. I don't know how you'd squeeze it down. I mean, it's basically going through Tony's life, isn't it? But I'm sure we'll get into all of that, Chris. So should we get into our trailer?
Let's go.
Okay, so what do you call yourself? Huh? ¿Cómo se llama?
Antonio Montana. And you? What you call yourself?
Where'd you learn to speak the English, Tony?
In a school. And my father, he was from the United States. Yeah, just like you, He was a Yankee. He used to take me a lot to the movies, I learned. I watched the guys like Humphrey Bogart, James Cagney. They teach me to talk. I like those guys. I always know one day I'm coming here, United States.
1980. Miami. They called it Little Havana, where the American dream had a price tag, and only one man in a million was hungry enough to pay.
This country, you gotta make the money first. Then when you get the money, you get the power. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
Scarface. For one brief moment, the world was his.
A chick he's with. She liked me.
You must be kidding.
What you talking about? That's a Cadillac.
How do you know?
The eyes, Chico. They never lie.
Man, that's the boss's lady, okay?
I am the boss. That guy's soft.
I like you, Tony. There is no lying in you.
Here's to the land of opportunity.
We do business together a long time.
I know the street, and I'm making all the right connections.
Remember I told you when you started, the guys who last in this business are the guys who fly straight.
With the right woman, there's no stopping me. I could go right to the top.
The word on the street, Tony, is you're not a small-time punk anymore. Supreme Court says that your privacy can be invaded.
You shoot the house this month?
You're spending a lot of money on this counter surveillance.
We're doing 10 million, 15 million a month. Come on. Now, that's serious money, Did your bank boys gotta come down a bit?
Who else can you trust? That's why you pay us when you do. You trust us. You're in good hands with us.
Al Pacino is Scarface. He loved the American dream with a vengeance. Al Pacino, Scarface.
In 1980, Cuban refugee and ex-convict Tony Montana arrives in Miami as part of the Mariel boat lift, where he is sent to a refugee camp with his best friend Manny Ray and their companions Angel and Chi-Chi. The four are released and given green cards in exchange for murdering a former Cuban general at the request of Miami drug lord Frank Lopez. They find work as dishwashers at a restaurant, but are dissatisfied. Tony proclaims that he is meant for bigger things. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
You know what, Dave? It's not how I remembered it. I seem to remember the chainsaw bit being the first scene, and it's not.
Yeah.
You know, and again, this is quoted, this movie and another Pacino one. Basically, when they did GTA Vice City, they ripped off loads of this Miami setting because it's set in Miami and everything. So I'm going to reference that game a bit, but there's loads of rip-offs in it. So, but yeah, it's just... they get it right. I think that, like, the immigration and coming into the country, you know, the interrogation, the first scene's him being interrogated, isn't it? Like, to get into the country and all that. And then you've got, like, I mean, I've got to say, his fucking cousin and that, he is a good-looking lad, isn't he? You know, like,
the only Cuban in the main cast.
Yes. Yeah, he was cast without even doing an audition, I believe.
Yeah, he is a good-looking guy. He
very
looks a
good.
bit like James Franco to me.
Yeah, definitely. A little bit like me, Dave, but, you know... I look more like Frank Logan, but anyway, Dave, there you go. Robert Logan, sorry, Frank Lopez. But no, it's just iconic, and seeing that little bit of a struggle and the way it progresses, because you think, like I say, it's 3 hours long pretty much, and you're like, what the fuck, how are they going to tell this story? But I think it's segmented really well. Like, when it comes together, it's showing Tony where he is. He wants more for himself, doesn't he? He wants that American dream. He wants to do something. And when he sort of meets them two, like, drug dealers sort of thing, you know, Frank Lopez is like henchman, and he gives them shit. Now, normally it'd be like, well, you're getting a bullet, but for some reason they sort of like, well, come on then, what are you going to do? And they sort of give him a job, don't they? And then he leaves the dishwashing place pretty much straight away. But you've got this dynamic of, and we've seen it in loads of gangster movies, like, you know, where they come from nothing, don't they? They want more. They look outside the window and go, I don't want to sit here washing pots or serving on tables or whatever. And because they're immigrants, they've got to do whatever they can, cash in hand. And it's a great story. It's a long film, but the story arc of Tony and everything around him, and he's a very, very troubled character. The only problem I've got with the movie, Dave, is Al Pacino's accent is fucking rubbish. It's absolutely garbage. I don't care whether he thinks he sounds Cuban or not. To me, it's quite, in the first scene especially, it's like they shot that at the start of production, because it's better as the film goes on. In that first scene, it's like me or you just putting an accent on and trying to get away with, you know, taking the piss. Like, you know, you're very good, obviously, as we know, as doing the Bane and some of the other ones, Dave. I'm obviously Christian Bale, but they're like piss take ones, like, you know, what we're doing. But he's playing this for real, and I really, really find it difficult, that first scene when he's getting interviewed. That accent bobbins.
See, I don't know how I feel about this, because I think sometimes, you know, you walk the line of cultural appropriation, don't you? You know, you can't do certain accents, Chris, or else you'll get cancelled. Yeah. But the thing is, because Al Pacino's accent, it's not like this Spanish/Cuban accent at all. It's like this, it's its own unique thing.
Yeah.
So it does. So I don't feel bad if I do an Al Pacino Scarface accent. So I think I get it, but for me, it's just him. So I'm able to forgive the fact that it sounds a bit silly. I mean, again, Al Pacino was fully on board with the whole Cuban thing. And again, you can think this was probably something that was in the news, at least the local news and stuff. So, I do think it's quite bang up to date. Now, I do have to say, Chris, cards on the table, loved this movie. Absolutely loved it.
Me too.
But there are several little things that are quite bad in it. One of them, like you've said about the accent, which I'm willing to forgive that one. But when they're in the refugee camp and, he's going through and he's going to take out this former Cuban general, the extras are shocking.
I'm glad you spotted that. I spotted it straight away. I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Is this some martial arts movie? Some of the stuff, the direction is... It's excellent.
You go to Goodfellas, right? And when Ray Liotta's walking through the restaurant, and there are a lot of extras there, and you look, everyone is in character. There's no one in the background you can see who's like just fucking about or staring at the camera or something. But this whole, prison break riot sort of thing. Oh, it's not prison, obviously, but, this whole riot thing, people are just like basically having fucking pillow fights or something. I thought that was ridiculous as the first thing. But, it gives him his first taste of it, doesn't it? On American soil, at least. It shows he can do a job. And that sort of gets him the next rung on the ladder, doesn't it? So I appreciate this. I appreciated the scene for the story and, where it gets him to the next place. But, yeah, the execution of that was shocking.
Well, and I'm so glad I don't know if I've said this before. When what I do it now when I watch the soaps, and you'll see, when you can see an extras like holding the door, but they're exaggerating or they're having a fake conversation and all this. And I've done it where they come over to you as if like you bigging you up, like the runners are going to go. Right, you need to bananas. So bananas, I've told you before, in the bananas, when you never walk at the camera, you've got to walk in as if you're curling, because it never looks right on screen. It looks very weird. So you've got to walk across and all this. And I remember her saying to me, we'll do a scene. And this woman's there, and she's done it for years. And one of my first ever things, no offense on John and there. And this woman was like, I'll look after it. She was about 60 odd. I've done it for years. She said, right, we're all coppers, but I'm going to ask if you want a drink. So we did this whole thing, and everyone, and he said, right, we want all of you to just ad lib, do whatever you want, but tell your own story. Dave, if she offered me a drink once, how many times do you think we fucking shot that little bit? Did it get used in the show? Did it fuck, Dave? And you're there trying to play, and I'm thinking, this looks so fake. And when you watch stuff, so that was brilliant. It was like the martial arts stuff we used to watch years ago, where it'd be like, you'd see one, they'd all go one-on-one against the main guy, and we've talked about loads of times, and then they just hit the deck, don't they? It's like, well, how have you ended up on the floor? He's not even touched yet, like a death touch or something. So, yeah, it's weird you said that, because I think the problem was, there's so many people on the screen at that point, isn't there? There is so many people. And obviously, Al Pacino and the other guy are trying to, they're trying to keep in character, aren't they? They're trying to they've got to do this thing. And there's going to be direction, but you're right, it doesn't look convincing at all, does it? Especially when the guy's going through like the sort of chalet bit where they're all in prison. It's almost like a prison block, in it, and they're going through there and he's getting sort of pushed around and everything. It's very, very bizarre.
It is. But Chris, joking aside there, you get to one of the most shocking scenes. And actually, before we get into that scene, I absolutely love the Miami setting. I love the colours, the way it's shot. I love the fashion. Just everything about it makes you love the movie, I think. The fact that where you've got the violence, the way the camera pans down from the main room where the violence is happening, and Manny's just trying to pick up chicks. He's just not really asked about the gangster life, is he? He just wants to get laid all the time. Yeah. So, I just think it just looked amazing. But Chris, what do you reckon to that whole chainsaw scene with the Colombians?
Dave, you know what? It's unbelievable. Because he got X-rated, this movie, didn't it? Because of that scene, and they tried to cut other bits out as well. You never got he had to go to bat to get it as an R-rated movie, because it was almost like a snuff movie, wasn't it? Like the fucking violence.
So what I heard, and you read different things about it. So basically, they got the X rating, and then they're like, right, okay, you've got to cut stuff. Okay, you cut this bit, you cut that bit, and I think they cut it a few times. But then when it came to the release, they just released the original one.
Yeah,
just were like, no one will probably notice, and yes, they got away with it. So. I mean, with the actual chainsaw stuff, I mean, they must have cut a few bits out of that, because you don't see Angel get chopped up. You're seeing Chris. Al Pacino is not known as one of the fucking greatest actors for no reason, is he? Where you're getting his reaction, and he's still acting like the hard knock, but you can see he's sort of inside, he's shitting it as well. Like his mate's getting fucking chopped up there. It's just absolutely shocking and iconic. But I can imagine in like the early 80s and stuff, this would have been absolutely shocking. It's shocking now, but you're a little bit desensitized. You got things like Saw and things like that.
Yeah.
You're just used to seeing a lot more violence on the screen and not as toned down as it was back in the day. But yeah, this scene is amazing. Sickening, but amazing.
Oh, honestly, I agree. I feel like the hairs on the back of my neck are going now, because when they get in there, it's all nicey, isn't it? And then it's almost like, I know this is a callback nowadays, but it's almost the situation of Pulp Fiction, when, you've got fucking Butch and fucking Marcellus Wallace, and one of them's going to get fucking nailed by Zed. And it's like, which one are we picking? And obviously Tony gets away with it. But yeah, that whole thing. And then you've got, I think, is it Manny outside? He's fucking talking to that blonde girl, isn't he? And then all of a sudden he sort of looks up and sees the blood. Oh, it's fucking, even now thinking about it, it's a fantastic scene. It's absolutely unbelievable scene. And it's an iconic one, even for all the wrong reasons, because loads of people just walked out the cinema, didn't they, when this bit was on. But what I love, Dave, is when it comes to, when he sort of gets rescued by Manny, it's not one of them Arnie ones, is it? Or Stallone, where he just comes in and levers everyone. Manny gets fucking shot. And Tony's fighting for his life with that other guy, and he eventually gets the gun and shoots him. But then it's when he goes outside and fucking shoots the guy with the chainsaw. And the guy with the chainsaw's nearly been fucking decapitated himself a few times with that chainsaw, because it's sort of like almost stuck to him. And he just shoots him dead, doesn't he? And fucks off. Oh, it's honestly, it's a brilliant, brilliant scene, and it's shot so well. And everyone around, and we talk about the extras in that other scene were terrible. I think the extras in this are all like pretty good. They're all like, what the like you'd be like, what have I just witnessed? Yeah. I'm sure you're the same. When you actually see something in real life, an act of violence. I mean, I've never seen, touch wood. I've never seen someone being shot in the head. But what I mean is, like, you've seen a proper act of violence, or unfortunately sometimes we're on the wrong end of violence or whatever. It's fucking it really does make you feel vulnerable, and you think, I'm fucked here. Like you train and everything, you do kickboxing, but yourself, when you're doing sparring with somebody who's better than you, or or someone clocks you, you realise how vulnerable you are as a person. You always think, don't you, if someone come towards me, I'd be able to do this. But the reality is, there's not many people can actually stand up and fight back, because you're shocked. Your body just goes into shock watching it. So I think that scene and that reaction of everyone is brilliant. Honestly, I really, really enjoy it. And the way they escape, because you can see Pacino cannot drive that car at all. He's fighting for his life there, so he doesn't fucking mount the curb and crash it. But yeah, very, very well shot.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, that was the first amazing scene for me in this movie. Just saying about you're right. When the adrenaline hits, in real life, I always think back. I spoke about it on the No Retreat, No Surrender watch along, didn't I? The tournament that I was doing. I was probably about 19 or 20 at the time, I think. And going into my first actual competition where, it's not like fucking Karate Kid where, you score points and that, you get one punch in and then that's it, point. This was more like sort of kickboxing. And I just remember stood there. And, when you're young, you sort of feel invincible. Yeah. But I remember stood across the ring from this guy and just thinking, shit, his best outcome is for me to be sparked out on the floor.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's like all of the blood just drained from my whole body into my feet. It's just like, it's so sobering. That was almost life changing. That, in terms of feeling vulnerable. But yeah. So, I mean, it kind of Manny does get shot, and like you say, the rescue is kind of messy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the whole thing is messy, and I don't think it's not like glamorized at all. It's fucking brutal and shocking, and so I do think that is good, but that gets them the next kind of level along, doesn't it? But they're still trying to work with the handler. And then, but that's not good enough for Tony, is it? He wants to get in to see old Frank.
God, yeah. And then when they go in, and I do love, because obviously, Pacino's played the biggest mafia fucking boss ever, hasn't he? Michael Corleone, really. He took over from his dad. He's, as an actor, he's played a few of these parts. He knows, and there's still a bit of that Michael Corleone. I love when he sits down. He does the Corleone, but he's like sort of slouched. It's probably just Al Pacino, but when he meets like Frank, and then you see, I've got to say, Dave, Michelle Pfeiffer did well for herself, because she went straight from Grease 2, which is one of the worst films ever, straight into fucking Scarface, which was unbelievable. But she's so sexy in it, isn't she? She's a beautiful looking woman.
No, obviously, yes. But I kind of prefer the slightly older Michelle Pfeiffer, I have to say. I've never really... Oh, my word, Chris.
Yes.
Batman Returns. I think, yeah. So that would be the Michelle Pfeiffer that I think is peak Michelle Pfeiffer for me. But obviously, younger Michelle Pfeiffer is beautiful woman as well. But no, it's Batman Returns. Yep.
Lob on City, Dave. You don't have to say anymore. And she did that. That video's still knocking around, isn't it? It's been out for about a year of her doing the whip, where she whips the heads off on their model. That's actually her. She did it in one take as well.
Oh, wow.
Brilliant. Have you ever seen that video?
No, I'll have to dig that out.
Yeah, so you've
Any
got...
excuse?
Well, exactly, yeah, close the blinds. But no, it shows someone sort of filming it, but not for the film, if you know what I mean. They're there watching her do it, and she does it all in one take and takes like the 5 heads off with the whip. Fucking brilliant. I'm getting aroused now, Dave.
The fucking stones on Tony. I mean, and Frank... You do see, I don't know if it's an intentional thing or a bit of a hole, but, Tony makes his kind of feelings towards Michelle Pfeiffer. What's her name? Elvira, that's it, makes his feelings, he's kind of leching over her right from the start, and Frank's just kind of cool with it. And it's like, come on, Frank, you should really step on this shit, I think. But, I don't know if that was intentional, that Frank is actually a little bit weak. He's kind of a mid-level boss, isn't he? He's not playing with the big boys, but that's where that's where Tony wants to be.
Yeah, and it's weird because Tony says to Manny, doesn't he, afterwards, because he says to him, he's fucking weak, Frank, he's weak, and you're like, where? Yeah. You're right, there's that little bit of character. I think Robert Logio, he's a great actor anyway. He's always been a good supporting actor, hasn't he? In different things. Even in Big, he's great as the shop owner. But I think in this,
Twinkle Toes on the piano there.
Yeah, very good day. That's a great film as well. But no, I think you're right. Like Tony's a lechy fucker, isn't he? And they end up in like the club. And he's fucking trying it on with her, innit? And even that scene where I've only just read this before we come on, but the scene when Tony puts the hat on and he tries it on with her, doesn't he? Literally fucking sexually assaults her. And when he puts the white hat on, she didn't know he was going to do that. That was ad-libbed. She actually broke character, and then she went with it for the scene, and they kept it in the movie because Brian De Palma was like, this actually depicts her warming to Tony. He just basically touched her up 30 seconds later, but he puts a white hat on and she forgives him for that, you know what I mean, for being a fucking deviant.
The 80s, wasn't it?
Sexual deviant. Just put a fucking hat on. But no, I think you're right. That sort of backward and forward, and he's always, I don't know if Frank's aware, but Tony has just been really like lectured towards. He's telling her he's going to fuck her and all this. Like, it's really, when you watch it now, it's like, wow, he wanted her and that was it. Frank, it don't matter who Frank was or what level he was, he's getting his wife. So yeah, I'm with you on that. And then obviously Tony goes to Bolivia, doesn't he, with that other guy, with Omar. He's the one who had a bit of a bust up with Tony at the start, and he meets the main guy, and that's when I loved it, when he was in full Michael Corleone. He meets that Sousa, and he's got this massive mansion, and he's going, you go on there and go and see, you'll be back in 5 hours. Tony, stay with me. And then we see that fucking them killing him on the fucking helicopter, and he's like, he's a police informant, and he's hanging from the helicopter, and you're like, what the again, graphic, but shows the world that they live in. And Tony doesn't like him anyway, does he? He's like, I fucking don't like that guy. So, but he does a deal for 18 million. And that's when you see, you're right, there's been a few little droplets of Frank's weak side. And Tony comes back, goes, done a deal, and he shits himself. He goes, what the fuck? You know, and he's tight in it. And Frank's really panicking now, and he's like, what the hell am I going to do?
Yeah. And I think Frank had a good point. He's like, what? So, he just told you Omar was a police informant and you believed him. And by the way, Tony, I sent you to be this guy's fucking handler and protector.
Yeah, and you've done a deal.
He's now dead, and you've done a deal. This sort of feels a bit funny, you know, a little bit off there. So, again, I don't know if that's an intentional thing, but, I mean, Tony should have been whacked right at that point. He shouldn't have had the opportunity to go on for the second half of the film.
Brilliant. It's brilliant, Dave. Because and again, this nightclub is the centre of like the movie, really, inadvertently, because it's when you get that dodgy cop come to Tony. So Tony goes to see his sister, doesn't he, and his mum. Now, his sister's really pretty. I think she's prettier than Michelle Pfeiffer, to be honest. His sister, Gina, she's really pretty. And he goes to see her. Go on.
We'll come back to the sister.
Come back to that later.
No, say what you want to say.
There's some fucking, I know exactly what you're going to say. But
go on.
So he goes to see, obviously, the mum and the sister. They haven't seen him for 5. He tries to give him £1,000. The mum's having none of it. She's fucking slating him and all that. But the sister loves him. And it's all dead nice at this point. It's really nice, really cordial. He loves her. I mean, she's a bit touchy-feely, if I'm being honest, Dave. At first I thought, is this his side piece? I forgot it was his sister, you know, when she got there. My sisters have never grabbed me like that, Dave. If it was, there's going to be a serious hard drive check afterwards if that's the fucking case. But it's very touchy-feely. Anyway, you can see Manny wants a piece of the sister, don't you? You can clearly see it. But it almost becomes... So when they go in the club and the copper's there bending his ear saying, right, we want this money, gives him the napkin, we want this. I've got coppers who've got, you know, they've got families and all this. And you can see Tony's, and he sees his sister with his fucking low-level thug guy. And she's gone from this mild-mannered little prim and proper sister, and the next minute she's fucking on coke and everything. But it almost turns into like a martial arts movie, you know, when they get like the tunnel vision, and as soon as he sees anyone with his sister, it's almost like wah, wah, wah. His eyes fucking like, you know, they completely fucking go like as if to say that's it. And it's weird, isn't it, with his sister? He's got this real like jealousy and I don't know, Dave. I don't know what that was supposed to depict, but it wasn't a brother sister. I've got 5 sisters, and it wasn't the sort of relationship I've got with any of them anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the way I saw it was, you know, Tony is completely unhinged, isn't he? You know, so, and he's just overly protective of his little sister. The turn that it takes later, I didn't see coming. I just thought, you know, he didn't like his little sister being disrespected. He occupies this kind of mafia space, but he doesn't want that for his sister. So when he sees her and she's kind of getting corrupted by his world, that's why I think he reacted the way he reacted. But Chris, his sister is not a good actress, right? No. So Gina, I just think when she's on screen, it becomes a bad soap opera. And the thing is, because Pacino is so good, like it just really contrasts for me. You know, it just becomes like Days of Our Lives or something. I think it just took me out of it a bit. The fact that she was so dramatic, like you say, the touchy-feely bit, it was all so dramatic. You know, the drama was oozing out of the screen, and so I think and some of the hair choices, Chris. I mean, I know it was 83, but wow.
It has got a Deirdre Barlow haircut. I think she's got a very pretty face, though. I think she's very pretty. But yes. And I think what's good about this, Dave, this middle section for me is my favourite part of the movie. This rise of Tony, where he's got this thing with Frank, where he's really starting to run things and Frank's just sort of in his way. And then this is like the situation with the cop. The cop fucks off in the nightclub. And then you've got these. I mean, how have two guys got into a nightclub, Dave, with two Uzis? I don't know. But they're on the table, aren't they? Tony's fuming because he's had a go at his sister. He's had a go at this guy. He's sat there. Manny goes off as well. And he's just on his own, isn't he? And you've got this guy dressed in some weird outfit. Like a kid's entertainer. I don't know what was going on there. But like the clown and everything.
Strange.
It's very weird. But they're just constantly like picking the Uzis up on the table, put a napkin over it. Nobody thinks, hang on, why are these two guys looking suspicious? But they're both there. They're both doing it.
Literally intensely staring at Tony.
Who's like this gangster, drug dealing fucking gangster. And they're there. And obviously next minute we just get this shoot up, don't we, at the club. And these loads of people gets killed. Tony, he fucking pretty much gets away. But then it becomes pretty obvious that when he goes to see Frank, he gets Manny, he gets the other guys, they go to see Frank. I mean, they walk in with the guns, and Frank's like, what have you got that for there, Tony? If it was me and someone walked into my fucking house with a silencer on a handgun, I'd be like, I need to pick a fucking gun up or get the fuck out of there. And the cop's there then, innit? So it's obvious that Frank has got the cop to hustle Tony down. And Tony says that to Manny after the shoot-up. He went, fucking Frank set me up with this cop.
Yeah.
So he's not daft. And I love that dynamic. And again, it shows Frank as weak because as the room... He doesn't do a lot, Tony. But Frank sort of does that thing where... when they say... Sometimes say, and I know this is Rich coming from me, less is more sort of thing where you're talking. But if there's like... uncomfortable silences, a lot of people will talk and they'll put themselves in trouble. That's what they say, don't they? Like when people are being interviewed if they've done a crime and they don't like the unnerving silence, so they end up just like confessing to things. And Frank pretty much nails his own fucking death and just keeps talking. And instead of just sort of trying to face it off, I mean, you know where it's going, but I think that scene's fucking brilliant again. Another brilliant. And Pacino is just at the top of his form in that for me. He's so good.
Yeah, but the nightclub scene, again, I think cinematically it looked great, and you can see, can't you, the closer the closer Tony gets to the top, the more kind of paranoid he gets. And he's calculating, like you say, he's very sharp. He's figuring out what's going on and stuff. But because of that, he's all up in his head and the paranoia is setting in and stuff. But the guys who are waiting to take a pop at him, I mean, from the camera shots we see them pretty much face on, don't we? But if you would just pan back, you'd see them like probably 20 yards away, just intensely staring at Tony constantly. It looked ridiculous. But also, they waited. I think this is a bit of an editing problem. They waited for so long. They were just sat there, and they could have taken a shot, an open shot for what seemed like ages. But no. Let's wait till the children's entertainer walks right in front of him. Let's shoot then. And so again, cinematically, I thought it looked great, but just in terms of the editing, it just felt funny. It just felt like, I've got a clear shot. Now I've got an obscure shot. Let's take it now. So it was just utter nonsense. So they should have taking him out very easily. They're basically the world's worst hitmen, weren't they? But you're right, the scene with Frank, and Tony had set him up, hadn't he? Because he'd spoken to his mate and said, just ring up dead on 3:00 and just say, he got away, so that depending on how Frank reacts. So if Frank was to say, what the hell are you talking about? Okay, there's still that element of doubt. Was it actually him? But the way he reacts, as if he was expecting this call, that's it. That sealed him. But Frank basically, shit himself, didn't he? Crumbled straight away. I'll give you $10 million. I'll get out of the country and whatever. And I like the coldness of Tony. I like the fact he says, I'm not going to kill you. Manny, kill him. There's something really cold about that, like, that I'm not even going to take the trouble. I'm going to give the order. Because that's what he says about Frank, doesn't he? Because sort of Frank says, I never did anything to nobody, but you got other people to do it. I like the kind of symmetry to it. He's going to order Manny to do it. So, yeah, brilliant scene. And it's one of those, it's making me anxious just thinking about it now as you see it unfold. But, yeah, brilliant scene again.
Oh, honestly, it's excellent. And this is where we also get like a bit of a montage then, don't we? Because this sets Tony up. It goes to like 83. It's not a Van Damme montage or a No Trick, No Surrender one, but we get
I don't know, because I kind of feel like it is. You've got this gritty, violent gangster movie, and everything is, it's murky, and then suddenly you get Push It to the Limit.
Yeah.
It's the most 80s montage sounding song ever. It could easily be in Rocky. It could easily be in No Retreat, No Surrender. It took me out of it. And it was mad, wasn't it? Because he basically goes from whacking Frank. You get this montage. You see all the money flowing in and everything. And then he's in this paranoid state where he hates Elvira. And it's like, hold on, did we not see him actually enjoy 5 minutes? For a 3-hour movie, I thought we could have saw him for at least 5 minutes being on top and things being quite good. No, he's got his tiger. That's what he wanted. You see the wedding and stuff, and that's it. They're into a sexless, poisonous, toxic marriage all of a sudden.
Yeah, you're right, because it's like, say, it shows the wedding, but one thing that I must admit, one thing watching it now is there is no way he would have turned up at a fucking bank with these massive satchels of money. I mean, the first time he does it, the bank manager's like, hey, come in, and we don't see him chatting. It's all done again to the music, like you say, the montage thing. Then they do it a couple of times and the bank manager's shitting, and it's like, surely that is the worst bit of criminal fucking money laundering we've ever seen. Just walking in with these massive satchels of cash. It's not going to alert somebody in fucking, and that's what, obviously, almost like an Al Capone type thing with the Untouchables. He gets fucking charged of tax evasion, doesn't he? So he's facing prison.
Yeah.
And then it's like Sousa, who'd seen something in him at the start, obviously with the guy who gets killed in the helicopter. They're sort of against each other, aren't they? Sousa keeps him out of jail, but it also leads to him sort of dropping Sousa in it, doesn't it? So you've got this thing looking over your shoulder. And apparently Pacino said for years, even like, I don't know what it is now, but for years, because he had to snort coke or fake coke, it was milk powder. He said he fucked his nose up and stuff. But I think he does it so well. Like he comes in, doesn't he, to get a gun and that, and he's like, and he's doing it fucking, and he goes out. But yeah, him and Elvira have just gone from like fucking Barbie and Ken to fucking hating each other, haven't they? Absolutely. His pursuit of this woman from Frank and that has just gone tits up. But you're right, it's weird because when he takes over from Frank and he kills the copper, obviously Bernstein gets killed. That's 2 hours into the movie, so we've got another 50 minutes. And it does wrap up pretty quick, doesn't it? He's spiraled down. It takes 2 hours to get to the peak. I mean, I know there's got to be a tipping point. You can't have another 2 hours of him like fucking spiraling, but his demise is very, very quick, isn't it? Like, really, the way, because they're trying to plant a bomb, aren't they, on the car, and then they realise the kids are then Tony has to fucking kill that guy, doesn't he? Because he's just going to fucking blow him up with a car bomb and that.
Breaking Bad guy.
Yeah, Breaking Bad guy. Yeah, so it's weird, isn't it? Like that demise.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was weird. So there's this quid pro quo, isn't there? So he's going to get done for money laundering.
Yeah.
Literally caught with his hands on the money. He's banged to rights, really. So he's going to go away for a bit. Doesn't really want that, but his friends in Bolivia, they'll sort it out. But the problem is this journalist is getting too close to it. Now, you're sort of thinking, Tony's like gangster army seems to be Manny and a couple of other guys.
Yeah.
Because when they need Tony's gang to do something, well, it's Tony the one driving the car.
Yeah,
It's like, wait a minute, how come Tony is the driver? That doesn't make sense. It makes sense for the plot, I guess, you know, for to put him in that situation, but I'm sure they could have done it in a better way there. Now, I think, I guess you could say, you know, this is Tony's paranoia, isn't it? You know, maybe that's why he had to be the one to drive him. But it just struck me as a bit odd. Like, your mafia boss, I know it's not the mafia, but, you know, your gangster boss just wouldn't put himself in that situation. But also, I found it weird. You know, he'd said to Elvira earlier in the movie about how he loves kids. But frankly, I thought he was just saying that to get in her pants. You know, but it seems like he really, really does like kids. But you know, so when the journalist got his family there and stuff, I mean, the things we've seen Tony do, you know, again, you could say, oh, it's, you know, it's mafia, it's adults, you know, he's kind of violent with, but no, he suddenly becomes this moral fucking compass that you know, he's not going to kill the journalist and the family and everything. And not only that, you know, I guess he's all coked up, isn't he? So it's not like he's thinking in a linear, sane way. And then, yeah, where does he think that hit is going to go? You know, he kills the guy who, honestly, every time I see him, though, I could just see him in Breaking Bad tapping on the bell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he obviously kills him, and that is not going to end up in a good place, is it? But that's when it almost goes, you know, we've had great scenes, but it really kind of ramps up from there, doesn't it?
Yeah, because obviously Tony, he's geared up. He's absolutely on coke, but he goes to see. Well, he's trying to find his sister, but he's fucking Manny, and you know something's going on because when Tony and Elvira get married, they're looking at each other. He'd already said, didn't he, about, you know, wanting to have a go at, and Tony had got the fucking credible Hulk rage. You stay away, you know, and all that shit. But when he does Manny, and then she's there, isn't she? And not realising they've been married. They've obviously been seeing each other for years behind his back. It's fucking bad, that, isn't it? Because it just spirals. This situation with his sister, for me, is fucking weird at the end, Dave, I've got to say.
It is, but, you know, again, and I'm loving the movie, by the way, Chris. I know I'm picking all the nits out, but Manny opens the door with a massive shit-eating grin. Hey, Tony, I wasn't expecting you. You know, come round. Have you brought any wine in? Let's have a sit down. He knows who Tony is. He knows what Tony's like. He knows how protective Tony is about his sister. You know, and you could see something was going to happen, and it obviously escalated not quickly. It had happened off camera, I guess, a lot of the time, you know, because he'd spoken to her, you know, way before, hadn't he? And she'd said, oh, are you scared of Tony? He's like, I ain't scared of nobody, kind of thing. So it's just the silly kind of reaction, and I don't think I needed the slow motion either. You know, the way he kind of falls there. I don't think that needed to be slow motion. I know why they're doing it for dramatic effect, but I think, you know, killing him is, you know, we've seen him literally with Manny since almost, you know, not that first scene, but, you know, the next scene, the second scene, where he's getting driven off to the refugee camp, and Manny's been his wingman all the way through this.
Yeah.
You know, and in that kind of paranoid, coked up state, he's ended up killing him. And it should be a happy thing, you know. He's found out his sister's got married to his best friend. It should be a great thing, and then he's killed him off. So, yeah, it was gutting, but I didn't love the scene just because, again, Manny, he knows who Tony is, and so, you know, for dramatic effect, they've put this big shit-eating grin on him. But yeah, he should have been like, oh shit, you know, he should have been looking through the keyhole, who's at the door at this time, and been like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm straight out the back door.
Yeah.
And, you know, so maybe that could have been a thing, you know, looks through the keyhole, legs it out the back of the house. Tony's chasing someone, doesn't see who it is, shoots him in the back or something, turns him over. Fuck, it's Manny.
Manny, yeah.
For me, that something like that would have been better. There you go.
Yeah,
fixed
that
it.
makes more sense, doesn't it? You're right, actually. And obviously Tony then fucking realises, he goes back, he gets on the fucking coke, and then we get one of the weirdest scenes ever. Gina comes in a negligee and starts telling Tony that he wants her. And you can see a boob there, can't you? The side where she starts shooting him. He gets fucking shot. And you're like, what the fuck is going on here? But then obviously, ultimately, we've got the assassins ready to come and take Tony out because he's got too big for his boots and he's completely out of control. And she ends up fucking getting absolutely decimated, doesn't she? And Tony fucking then goes on the ramp. And this is what I'm saying about the Vice City bit. At the end of Vice City, again, no spoilers because, I can't really say it's 20 odd years old, the game pretty much. But that's basically what happens is Tommy Vercetti's at the top of a mansion, ends up with a mansion, like exactly the same as Tony's, and they're all just coming from the side, and you've got to basically fend everyone off with guns. That's the only way you complete the game on it. So it's very much a nod to this scene and the whole, say hello to my little friend. The whole thing, when he gets shot about fucking 50 times.
He's John Matrix, isn't he?
Yeah, the coke ain't that fucking strong. It gives you a bit of confidence, but it's not that fucking strong. But yeah, he's like Training Day. When Denzel's character gets fucking done.
Yeah, true.
We covered that last week. He gets shot at the end by the Russians. He must be about 50 bullets and he's still there, isn't he? Until he's like, oh. He's like, no, you'd be dead straight away. You know what I mean? But again, iconic ending to the movie, Dave. What a fucking scene again.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I could have done without the scene with his sister or maybe a change of dialogue there. I think, she's saying, do you want to fuck me? And she's just seen the love of her life murdered by her brother. I don't think you'd have this weird fucking scene, to be honest. She'd just be going nuts, wouldn't she? But, and then it makes me think, did she have a point? Maybe I'd need to watch it again, Chris, and just see, okay, is there something there where it's not just a big brother love? There's something else a bit weird. Yeah. But I didn't see that coming, and I just found the whole scene very, very strange. But then, again, his gang just seems tremendously outnumbered. You've basically got the same couple of guys running around his grounds and stuff. Everyone else, they come across over the walls like ninjas, don't they?
The guy behind him.
Swarming. Yeah, so, no, it's a great scene, though. And the whole, you want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend. I fucking love it, Chris. Again, it's not a Spanish accent. It's not anything. It's just its own unique thing. And I just fucking love it. And again, even though he's a piece of shit, really, he's not redeemable, is he? He's not a nice person, but because he's so outnumbered, you're kind of rooting for him, and when the guys are trying to get in the front there, so he sends the grenade right to the front, and then, like I say, he just goes full on John Matrix, but getting peppered with bullets, but that's okay, I'm coked up, and it's just a brilliant scene, Chris.
It's fucking brilliant. It is. It's a great and then really ending.
As the camera is panning across, as people are storming the mansion and stuff, they had a guest director, and I don't know if you saw this in the trivia. You saw it. So it's Spielberg.
Yeah.
Fucking
mad,
Steven Spielberg, just on the back of E.T., just rocks up and just, hey, do you want to take charge of this scene?
The death scene, probably one of the most iconic scenes in the movie, just take control. Brilliant.
Was it the death scene, or I thought it was just literally as everyone's...
The low-down stuff, I think. Yeah, it's the build
when they're on the ground floor and everyone's kind of getting into the mansion and stuff. I thought it was just that. Absolutely
brilliant. But yeah, what a great film. Timothy's pick there, Dave. Cracker. Yeah. So come on, Dave. Let's get into the scores.
Let's go.
So honestly, as I said just before then, Timothy, thank you for picking this, mate. Brilliant film. Completely enjoyed it. It's a long old slog, so be prepared. Make sure you get your wee breaks in, or you don't drink anything if you want to try and get all the way through it without having a break. Cracker of a movie. Really framed great, the way it's shot, that it's just a horrible, grimy like town, all the underbelly of Miami. It looks great from the outside, the drugs and the immigration struggle and everything. Like I said, Pacino's accent for me at the start is shocking. It gets better as we go, or maybe your ears get more attuned to it. But as a movie, it's fantastic. I'm not going to put it to the top, Dave, because I think it's a great movie. I really do. And I can't say I'm going to watch it again because it's fucking 3 hours. But if it's on TV and I catch the middle of it, I'd watch it to the end. It is a great movie. So I'm going to put it in Pleasantville, a high Pleasantville day. But yeah, what a movie and what an iconic character Tony Montana is. So what about yourself?
You know, Chris, because it was a slog, I had to watch this at the weekend, and we're recording the following weekend. So I've had a whole week to argue with myself over, is this a Pleasantville or a Cloud City? Because, I mean, I pointed out some of the silly things like the refugee camp, the whole riot there wasn't executed particularly well. Pacino's accent is you know, bizarre. You know, his sister's performance, I think all throughout, she's like a soap opera type actress like put into this movie, and when you're up against Pacino it contrasts not in a good way. But you know what, I fucking loved it. And this is weird, right? Because this is more, you know, you're more into the gangster stuff, and I've always said, you know, especially when I was younger, I just didn't really have the stomach for it. You know, the violence just, it was too much for me. And if anything, you know, the violence is too much. You know, it's ramped up to 11 in this, isn't it? It's worse than like Godfather or something like that. But yeah, there's just something about it. And I think, you know, again, the way it's shot, the colours, the way it looks, everything, I just absolutely loved it. So I do think this is on the borderline. You know, I do think there are issues with it. I don't think it's a perfect movie. But just for the love I've got for it, it's a Cloud City from me.
I can't argue with that, Dave. I had a feeling you were going to go there. It was close with me. It really was. It really was. It's just a great movie. A fucking great movie. And I'm glad you had that bit of room to think about the score, because I'm the same. Sometimes like, does it? And I was thinking about it. I only watched it yesterday, and I sat there last night thinking, do I put it to the top? But no, either way, it's an amazing movie. So, no, really good. Now, Dave, it's my pick, my friend. So we've just covered one of the most iconic blockbuster movies ever, right? So I thought, why don't we do another blockbuster movie? An absolute classic, an iconic movie from the 90s, Dave. So this one, and it's going to be a Robert Loggia back-to-back, Dave. You know, we might get the hat trick, but Loggia, that's him as well. It's an amazing movie, this one, Dave. So all I'm going to say to you is one word, Dave. Gladiator. Let's get into the trailer.
Let's go. Oh, what a great movie, Chris. Gladiator. Yeah.
You have a gift, Mr. Riley.
This is the original Gladiator, Dave.
You the boy I've been waiting for. I'm my own man.
So everyone's me included, expecting Russell Crowe here, but no, we get some kind of modern day, some Dolph Lundgren wannabe.
Brian Dennehy.
Dennehy's in there.
Cuba Gooding Jr.'s in this, Dave.
The fuck is this?
There he is. I had this on VHS.
What do you want, Tommy?
It's a fucking classic.
I ain't gonna fight you. You run out on this, you better keep on running. You fight when I say. You fight against who?
I've never seen this.
Oh, fucking hell. It's at 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, Dave. I cannot wait.
You don't say no to me, boy. Cuba Gooding Jr.
Brian Dennehy's brilliant.
Of Boys in the Hood. Carabuono. John Seda. Introducing James Marshall.
I love the music. It's like this post-Vanilla Ice sort of.
Yeah.
Gladiator. Nobody owns Tommy Riley. Nobody.
Oh my god.
Music, fucking brilliant. Let me explain. So I've been sat on this for ages, this one. You know, like I said to you, I tried to get a bit organised, and I've been doing it for ages. So I had this, I rented it, and then I got it as an ex-rental as well a couple of years later. And I don't know what it is about it, but I just love watching it. Like, it's just that, basically, you know, when you went through this whole high school movie ones where like a teacher comes in with, have you ever seen one with Tom Berenger where he's like, he goes into that school, a bit like when Samuel L. Jackson or Michelle Pfeiffer, you know, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, a few of them.
Yeah, they went through this trope, didn't they? This is like an early 90s one, so it was a bit before, what was it called? What was one with Michelle Pfeiffer? The Coolio song, wasn't it? Gangster's Paradise, but the song the film was something like Desperate Mind, I can't remember what it was called, but them sort of things, Coach Carter and stuff with like Samuel L. Jackson. There's one with Tom Berenger where he was an ex-Navy or commando, and he goes into this absolute rundown school and fucking starts taking names. Well, this is based on high school, but like the guy who looks like Dolph Lundgren, the main guy, looks about 30. He's hanging on for his hair for dear life. Cuba Gooding Jr. looks, and there's enough. Honestly, all the kids who are supposed to be in high school. Well, basically, it's about underground boxing, and then bare knuckles. So Brian Dennehy's the big bad. So I can't wait for you to watch it, Dave. You're gonna fucking hate it, but I loved it.
If you hadn't pointed out that it was something, you know, these were supposed to be high school kids.
Honestly, I've probably ruined that surprise for you. But yeah, it's 1992 Gladiator. I loved it. I've watched it about 15 years ago, I think, and it was still okay, but just having Brian Dennehy as a baddie is fucking brilliant for me, Dave. But yeah, it's at 31% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I cannot wait for you to watch it. You're going to message me going, what the fuck is this? We hadn't had one of them for a while. So, yeah.
I'm quite looking forward to this. I mean, the music and everything, I've not seen it. It is definitely, it's going to be dripping with cheese, I can tell already. 100%. So, you know, but because I've not seen it, I'm quite looking forward to this one.
Oh, good, Dave. So, massive thank you to Timothy and all our patrons. If you want to support us, get over to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. If you don't want to email us, the VHS Strikes Back @gmail.com. And as always, please follow us on social media @VHS Strikes Back. So, the roll call of honour for today, and a big thank you to everyone who supports us, guys, is Lee, Helen, Dylan, Stephen, Trent, I'm losing my voice. Trent, Justin, Dan, Susan, Timothy, Matt, Heath, Kent, Lucky Little Green, Herb, Jacks, Math, John Hammond, Blake, and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. I did see Helen had tagged us on Twitter, Dave, regarding some horror movies. I will be unfollowing Helen pretty quickly for that. But no, get them in, Helen, when it's your pick, whatever you pick. You know, we always review them. But Dave, now I've got a line out of the movie. I don't mind taking us out unless you want to take us out.
Please. I mean, I've already said the iconic one a couple of times already, so please take it away, sir.
I'm going to do a Tony Montana accent, so it's going to be even worse than Al Pacino's. Oh, fucking! I don't know why I even teed myself up for this.
I don't know why you did
this. It's going to sound like completely offensive, this accent, but this. I can't even do the accent. Hold on, hang on. Let me get a say hello. Okay, this is. This is
Hold
terrible.
on, before you carry on any further,
oh, no.
I think this might be Tony Montana from Bombay, so just be careful.
Yeah, I know. Let me get the accent. Say hello to my little friend. Okay, this is paradise. This is terrible. I'm telling you, this sounds like a great big pussy just waiting to get fucked. See you next time.
Bye now.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back. That's odd.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off. Get to the chopper! One ring to go. All right. Ding, ding. Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on, ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool. Maybe you crazy. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I seen you at 6 months.
más, but I do.